and welcome to this live stream, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Thank you for joining me in this stream as I look at some new information coming out about the Hawaii missile launch and the so-called fake alert that was sent out during the missile launch. Some people had to ask themselves, was there really a missile launched at Hawaii? Based on the information that I have, this missile didn't come from North Korea. It came from our very own secret space program, which I'll get to in a moment. I do have some articles and other pieces of information that I want you to look at online. I'm going to start with the website that you're looking at right there. It's called Galactic Connection, and they have some new information about the Hawaii missile incident and whether or not a missile has been launched. And believe it or not, there were UFO sightings during that launch when the alert was put out. What you're looking at right there is a photograph taken. This was not at night. This was during the morning. But in this photograph, the contrast was adjusted so that the UFOs can easily be seen. Okay, based on this blogger's information, I'm going to read it for you if you can't see it very well. Solaris sent this link to me, and I found it quite amazing that someone captured the photographs of what it appears to be light ships or something like that during the time of the missile event. Were they involved in the deactivating of missiles heading towards the islands? I would not be surprised that UFOs have consistently been observed around missile silos, etc. when nuclear alerts were given. Okay, move on to the next paragraph here. That's another source. Then Benjamin Fulford, CIA sources, said that the missile alert was not a mistake and that, quote, it was an attempt by the cabal to blame the attack on North Korea and use it as a trigger for their long-desired World War III. Well, perhaps the Galactics, the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, and everyone else did have a part in this. At the time this happened, I was not awake and had no idea what's going on. That's from the words of this blogger. But you can make a judgment on whether or not the missile launch was real and whether or not the missile alert that was issued to Hawaii citizens was real. But I think it was real. Something had to happen before the alert was given. Okay, this is a message from the I think it's from the Emergency Operations Center. Okay, this was sent to their smartphones, and this was sent on television from the U.S. Pacific Command. Yeah, the U.S. Pacific Command. Okay, on January 13, 2018 at 8:07 a.m. Hawaii time. This was in the morning, so that photograph that I told you earlier was altered, with the contrast being modified so that you'll see that you'll be able to see the UFO pictures. That you'll be able to see the UFOs in the photograph. A message flashed across TV screens and cell phones. This message was declared a false alarm 38 minutes later. The message on cell phones in all capital letters was, quote, ballistic missile alert inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. Immediate shelter. This is not a drill. 38 minutes later, at 8:47 a.m. Hawaii time, another message flashed across phones saying there is no missile threat or danger to the state of Hawaii. Repeat, false alarm. And these are some of the photographs that were taken of those emergency alert messages. Ballistic missile threat inbound to Hawaii. Seek immediate shelter. This is not a drill. And here's another message. There is no missile threat or danger to the state of Hawaii. Repeat, false alarm. Unfortunately, the United States wasn't the only country that received the quote-unquote false alarm missile alert. And I'll show you that in a moment. On television screens, a message was displayed saying that the missile was detected by the U.S. Pacific Command and that the message was from, well, you can read that for yourself. IPOSCAP, which is the FEMA's National Warning System. And by the way, this was posted on YouTube if you want to see or hear the message. It's on YouTube somewhere, you just have to find it. The above photos are sourced from Twitter and were from a video by an unknown TV station in Hawaii and were in a tweet by Nick Short. The tweet disappeared within a couple of hours of these screenshots. Interviews with local officials on January 13, 2018. Pertinent details, and then you can read the details on your own. This is on galacticconnection.com, by the way. Okay, let's go on from here. On this video from the article, the head of the Hawaii Emergency Management Agency administrator said, "We will take action to prevent this from ever happening again." Oh, it'll happen again. I doubt they'll take some measures. By having more than one person here to do this, make the decision. We will work on equipment changes. Now, something had to set off the alert. And something had to, or someone had to. Whether it was automatic or manual. Whether the missile being present in Hawaii's atmosphere or in their airspace set off the system, or was it a hack, or was it something else? But something was going on at that time when the alert was given to all the residents of Hawaii. The head of HEMA says, "This is a sign that we don't have to be here if this type of event happens. We don't want people calling us to get permission when we have such a short time window." The article goes on to quote that the governor of Hawaii is saying there is no automated way to send a false alarm cancellation. We had to initiate a manual process. The Brigadier General, also being interviewed, then recommends that if the alert occurs again in Hawaii, it should be treated as the real thing until all clear is given. According to the article by Reuters, the head of HEMA stated, Hawaii would have only 12 to 13 minutes of warning in an actual attack. Okay, that's from that paragraph there. I doubt they'll make any changes to the system. Something had to set it off. And I'll review what that is. I don't think it's by accident, folks. Oh, there's something going on with the missile launch. Or maybe they didn't want the public to be warned. Again, you can't always depend upon the government to save you. They may warn you of a missile launch, and then they may not. Not because the system is flawed, it's because the people who are behind the system who want to warn the public or choose not to warn the public. So you can't always depend upon the system to save you. Okay, this is a commentary by this blogger, Solaris Mandalis. From the above interviews, it appears that a key person, only got a few minutes here, about 15 minutes left. It appears that a key person received information or checked equipment at the relevant facility, determined an attack was imminent, and then sent out the alert. It appears that the personnel working at this facility that monitors for incoming missiles are tasked with this responsibility. Thus, they have the training for it and are considered responsible enough to make independent decisions and to protect the population by sending out alerts during an actual attack. Since the window is quite small, potentially only 12 to 13 minutes, time is of the essence in decision making. There is no system to cancel alerts. Thus, the equipment must be considered to be pretty accurate, and or the choice is to err on the side of caution. If the equipment to monitor for ballistic missiles is accurate, then why did it indicate a potential missile strike? That's a good question. The system was accurate, folks. It detected something. They just don't want you to know. That is about the circumstances behind the alert that was given. Okay, later on in the day, it was said that a test was supposed to take place which accidentally went live. Okay, the two photographs of the Hawaiian sky and an interesting story. Again, without the contrast being adjusted, this is the photograph of UFOs appearing in the skies in Hawaii. The following photo was sent to me by a friend, Alex Clark, and was found on Facebook. I do not have the account name associated with the photograph. It was a photograph of the live KHON broadcast taken 30 minutes later after the emergency was declared a false alert. This photo shows a shot of the sky at 9:16 a.m. Hawaii time. Yep, there was something going on in the sky they probably don't want you to know about. As always, UFO sightings right around the time the missile alert went out. Let's take a look at this photo with some color edits. Again, the contrast was adjusted in this photo, and then this is the original photograph. I have bumped up the contrast as far as it can go in the photo. What this will usually do is darken pretty much the entire photograph. However, the round orbs in the sky are glowing incredibly bright, even with the photo darkened as much as was possible. Okay, that's the photograph of the UFOs, clearly seen with the contrast adjusted. Okay, continuing. For me, this brightness after the color edits indicates the presence of a technology that was lighted in a way that is beyond our current technology. The entire orbs are fully lighted and their color hasn't diminished at all. This technology feels very much like an interdimensional light ship, or UFO, to me. And here's another closer look. Yep, those are UFOs. And they may have interfered with something that was in the sky, and I'm betting it was the missile that may have been launched at Hawaii. Potential UFOs over Hawaii during missile emergency. Okay, here's another picture. Can't see it very well, but there it is. I think that's the original photograph. Okay, this paragraph explaining what these UFOs are and what they look like. Were these UFOs assisted in the emergency? I personally believe so. Something had to happen to get these UFOs out there. Yeah, something's going on, folks, and as always, it's something that the governments of this world doesn't want you to know about. Okay, now listen to this. That the UFOs can and do affect nuclear missiles. There is much testimony on this from credible sources. Okay, there's no question that they had a history of shutting off nuclear missile silos or shooting down missiles and stuff. But that was many decades ago. They had a history of doing that. An interesting story of the galactic assistance. Yeah, something prompted the missile alert. Okay, number one, a incoming missile was noted and alert was sent out. How the alert was sent out? My guess was by automated means. Proper steps were taken and the best judgments were made. Yes, the galactic presence on Earth in the form of UFOs were intervened and deactivated and or shot down and are sent off course the potential incoming missile or missiles. Number three, the UFOs then stood guard over Hawaii for a certain period of time, revealing their presence in the sky, which I'm glad they did. See, that'll show that we're not technically alone in the universe. There is life outside our planet, outside our solar system. It's a good thing that we have this intervention with our extraterrestrial allies. The number four, the emergency was declared a false alarm because there were no longer missiles detected by the equipment. And here's another closer look at those UFOs. I think they're anything in the missile launch. Okay, now, so we have to give thanks to these UFOs that came and played a role in the missile launch, may have take care of something that was incoming that was affecting Hawaii. So the alert was real, pretty much real. Something had to set it off. And we got to give thanks to our extraterrestrial allies for helping to deal with the threat that the governments of this world doesn't want you to know about. So I do send my blessings to these people that we call angels. They're more than just angels. They're pretty much extraterrestrials from off-world. And we do have to thank them for their assistance in this troubled society. There's another source called The Portal, which was run by a person that we know of as Cobra. That's not his real name, though, but Cobra is his name. C-O-B-R-A. This was part of an operation. I think it's called Operation Majonir. Okay, you can be surprised that what I'm going to tell you about the Hawaii missile launch. Okay, now
other secrets. HTTP.
Sorry about that. Okay. Other secret space programs tend to gravitate closer to Earth and low Earth orbit, and clearing of those responsible for these visible effects of the current space war. Was the Hawaii missile launch a part of that space war? Okay, there's some other sources you can check out. The Hawaii missile, get this, the Hawaii missile, this is Cobra's words now. The Hawaii missile was a secret space program weapon directed to Hawaii that was removed by the Galactic Confederation before it entered the atmosphere. So those UFOs may have been our extraterrestrial allies from the Galactic Confederation. And we do have to give thanks to them that we managed to make it through another day. Oh. Okay, so last piece of other news that I do want to get to. Unfortunately, our country wasn't the only country that received a false, quote-unquote, false missile alert. Let's go to YouTube. Okay, Fox News. Japan TV issues false missile alert days after the Hawaii error, quote-unquote error. It wasn't an error about that. Something set off the alert, folks. But yeah, something's going on. Something's really going on with these so-called missile alerts that were given. And whatever you see that alert, folks, you may as well just take it seriously. Other than that, you cannot always depend upon the government to save you. When it comes to threats from either outer space or from other countries, you cannot always depend upon the government to issue an alert. They may issue an alert for these threats, and they may not. Same applies to having the police to respond to an incident. They may respond to the incident and may be told to stand down. Again, you can't depend upon the regime to warn you during an emergency. So we gotta be prepared and become more independent in keeping ourselves safe instead of relying on the government to keep you safe. Okay, so that's the information that I have about the Hawaii missile launch. And 2018 could be a year where the secret shadow government escalates their plans for a new world order, and such attacks like these. Things are ramping up. Also, you have forest fires that were burning in California, may have been connected to directed energy weapons. Because fire victims gave their testimonies that some of their houses would just whoosh, catch on fire, and their houses catch on fire spontaneously, in a spontaneous fashion. They weren't burned down by moving embers from one area to another. Somehow their houses just went whoosh, went up in flames in a spontaneous fashion. It said they were hit by some kind of directed energy weapon. By the way, that information about that is on stopthecrime.net. You can check that information out about for yourself. The reason why I'm sharing that with you is because there's some global genocide attempts going on, not just with the missile launch, but with the forest fires that are burning in California, or were burning in California. And also you have this huge cold blast that is hitting the East Coast right now. That may have been a part of the genocide plan that the New World Order elites are doing to us. So, again, please give your thanks to God and give our thanks to the people that you call your angels, that we managed to make it through another day. I thank you for listening, and I wish you good luck. And best of all, stay safe.